We are 3 months away from Modern Warfare 2's release, but concept artwork for Call of Duty Black Ops 2024 was leaked online through the files of Warzone Mobile. Today, however, we've got brand new stuff to talk about, as high quality versions of these concept art pieces have leaked online, and it gives us a surprising amount of knowledge on the game with regards to its time setting or multiple, some of the weapons in the game, some of the themes, as well as an idea of what characters could be in it based on the timeline. Coming straight into things, all of this comes courtesy of @RealityUK on Twitter, whose account has been suspended multiple times by Activision for DMCA, and Activision's reasons for taking down the account was for links containing content for Treyarch's unannounced Call of Duty project. So the leaked concept artwork is 100% real. Now, from the 2 pieces of concept artwork that have leaked, we can start to build an idea of time period that this next game is going to take place. The first concept artwork leaked was for a multiplayer map allegedly called Pillage, which shows 2 soldiers storming through what looks to be some sort of museum or palace. The soldiers have created a huge chunk of the wall, and within the palace you can see chandeliers, artwork. It clearly looks very luxurious and lavish, but there is one specific detail in this artwork which you couldn't see in the lower quality leaks before, which hint massively at the time period for this game, as well as exploring some themes that I did not expect Treyarch to ever dive into. On your screen is the painting that is within the concept artwork. It's a very famous art piece, so we can fully show it and talk about it. And this painting is a modern depiction of the king of Babylon, Nebuchadnezzar, over 2,000 years ago. However, the main person in this painting isn't actually Nebuchadnezzar, but it is actually Saddam Hussein as Nebuchadnezzar. This is absolutely no joke. This was a painting that he had commissioned in 1987, which he owned in his palace, which he had built in the city of Babylon. Now, what makes this even crazier is that the leaked artwork showing the palace is literally from within Saddam Hussein's own palace in Babylon, as imagery you can find on the internet matches up absolutely perfectly to this artwork. It's not a random palace at all. It's surprisingly former Iraqi president Saddam Hussein's palace. Now, this is just concept artwork for a game that isn't out for another 2 years, so we got to take this with a grain of salt, but it is very likely that from this information, this game will be set during the Gulf War of the early 1990s. Now, if this follows through into the final game, I am very surprised that they're exploring this territory, especially when it comes to themes surrounding Saddam Hussein. If there is any focus on him during this story, then the Iraq War between 2003 and 2011 might also play a vital role in the time period that this game might be set in, which is a lot more modern than Black Ops 1 and Cold War, but still not quite futuristic like we saw with Black Ops 2. But looking at Black Ops Cold War and the alternative future they went with, the idea of Perseus, which in real life was only just conspiracy theory, there's a great chance that this will also have an alternative story explained here for this idea of the Gulf War and potentially the Iraq War, where there could be completely different outcomes or different motivations for why these wars take place within the universe of Black Ops. Now, this throws some really interesting discussions on what characters could return, because as we all know in Black Ops 2, a lot of the fan favorite Black Ops characters suffer some pretty unfortunate fates. Sergeant Frank Woods is paralyzed in 1989 due to Raul Menendez getting revenge on Woods for killing his sister. And that's why we see old man Woods in the wheelchair, where at that point he's in his 80s. Just before Woods gets paralyzed, he's tricked by Menendez into assassinating Alex Mason. Obviously, he didn't know that was Mason under that cloth. We can't have another Black Ops game where both Woods and Mason are out of action, but at that point, Mason would be 57 years old. And how could we forget about the Black Ops OG Jason Hudson, who gets killed as well? Now, a sequel to Black Ops Cold War could not happen without some of the most iconic characters from that game returning, and Russell Adler is definitely one of those characters which can definitely return. There is a great chance that his story could continue on in this game, even if the canon of Black Ops 2024 follows on from what happened in Black Ops 2, where some key characters do end up being killed off. Now, with this game being fairly likely to be set around the Gulf War and Iraq War, we can start to look at what weapons the game might contain, and shockingly enough, somehow RealityUK has pulled a full weapons list from Warzone Mobile. Why that's also there, I do not know. While most of these weapons are just code names, you're more than welcome to try and work out what these are and pop them in the comments below. We can also pull from real life history of what weapons the Iraq and United States forces used during these wars, and there's a lot of weapons that we are all pretty familiar with. In this list here, we can definitely see that the M16 is going to be there, along with the AK-74U and the AS Val. Now, a really strange find through all of these weapons is that there is apparently a new class of weapon going to be coming in this game called Battle battle rifles, which is something never seen before in a Call of Duty game. And like the only time I've ever seen something like this is in something like Halo. There are apparently going to be 5 battle rifles in the game. I'm quite puzzled at how these are going to be different to something like an AR. Moving on, there is another category called DM, which again, I am a little puzzled on what category that could mean. Moving on to LMGs, we can see that we have around 4 of them. There is one melee weapon being a knife, of course. Moving on to pistols, there are 3 at the moment. Shotguns there appears to be 3. Here we have 5 SMGs, with some noticeable ones being the MP5. And lastly, for sniper rifles, there are 4. But again, this game is over 2 years away. I'm shocked that there are even this many weapons that exist for a game that is 2 years out. And it's very likely that there'll be more weapons than what's seen here. They might take some out. They might add a few different ones in. We don't really know. Not only do we have the actual weapons in the game that you'll use, but there's also very likely going to be a large variety of vehicles which we can expect to see. As in concept artwork for the other map, which is known allegedly as Stealth, it contains a F-117 Black Hawk jet, which was used between the 1980s and late 2000s as a stealth aircraft. So there's a good chance that we can expect to see other jets as well as tanks and other vehicle types, as these were all used during the Gulf and Iraq War. Now, already from the 2 concept artworks, you can tell that there is going to be a emphasis on there being different looking buildings to what we've seen before in Call of Duty, as well as a lot of emphasis on sand and desert focused maps, which is something that we've not seen in Call of Duty for a really, really long time. And honestly, if this is the theme that they're going to go down, I think this is just going to be really fresh for Call of Duty as a whole, because it's something we've never seen before in these games. And I'm really excited to see Treyarch explore such a fresh setting. Now, on top of the time periods which seem to be very likely to be the Gulf War and a little bit of the Iraq War, we also have to talk about the Battle of Mogadishu from 1993, also known as the Black Hawk Down incident, as in the data mine files, the name of the US multiplayer team was labeled as Mogadishu. I touched upon this in my previous upload about it, but this is all about a US military operation which was part of the broader Somali civil war, which is another theme that they could explore within this game. At the very earliest of the time periods, we have 1990, but the Iraq War did not end until 2011, which is a possible range of 21 years for them to explore in this game's story, which means there is a chance that we could have some moments in the 1990s as flashbacks, like we saw with Black Ops 2, where it was jumping between the 1980s and then 2025. It's of course just speculation, but I think it'd be amazing to see these jumps and flashbacks in time. We know the universes of Black Ops, Modern Warfare, and Vanguard are tied together, but even more so now that they'll be on the same engine, there is a real chance that this next Black Ops game could explore some pretty modern day things, which would be right before Modern Warfare 2019. Now, it's still really early days for what this game is going to be called, so we're calling it Black Ops 2024, Call of Duty 2024, but a lot of people suspect that this could be simply Black Ops Gulf War, just like we saw with Black Ops Cold War. What would you title this game? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. But if you enjoyed the video, leave a like, subscribe for the latest COD news, and we'll see you in the next one.